predicate means. That's it. Just talk about
Hi, today we are beating theory of everything. Let's go.
when you're thinking about meaning and empiricism and what you observe, that's all you can observe when it comes to language. What about all the other stuff? Well, we'll get to that, but people like Klein were very suspicious of talking about any kind of additional meaning above and beyond what we can directly observe. So think about, you had a philosopher, a German philosopher by the name of Gottlob Frege. And he was a Platonist. He believed in abstract entities as part of the world. You cannot observe any abstract entities. So he talked about the meaning of a proposition as being its sense. And it has become a difficult
I'm about to see
what a sense
theory.
is supposed to be. And for
Short
Klein,
for theory
that
of
just sounds like
everything.
it just sounds like mumbo jumbo. Okay, to talk about this kind of meaning as a sense, which is supposed to be some kind of abstract entity or something that we have this kind of weird epistemic connection to. Klein wasn't having it. Okay? And so, particularly with respect to this kind of a scientifically oriented philosophy that was very much a standard way of doing philosophy among those who are part of what they call the tradition of logical positivism. Extensionalism was the way to understand how language worked, especially scientific language. Much of what philosophers thought they were doing in the early 20th century was just trying to provide a very clean, systematic, rigorous formulation of scientific language. That was their mission, so to speak. So you have this kind of extensionalism. Ordinary language philosophy was another way of analyzing language that became very popular, kind of roughly attributable to philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein. It became super popular in places like Oxford during the first half of the 20th century. And they kind of went in a different direction with language, and they thought that, much of philosophy had become overly esoteric. Especially the kind of philosophy that
Guys, dude, guys, rewind the video. That was clicked onto the block by Madrugda video.
19th century. And that was just, again, a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And they said, if you want to understand,
creepy
if you want to make sense of some problems, you have to stay within the balance of how people actually use words. And if it doesn't make sense from that perspective, then the philosophical problem itself doesn't make any sense. And so much of, particularly with Wittgenstein, much of these individuals set out to show that a lot of these problems are just
Bug always gotta kill me, man.
arise because we're just using language in weird ways and just creating problems for ourselves when they are not. Okay, so we have this kind of epistemology, this kind of language, and
Next one is the new best. Or maybe even 100%. Yay.
If you're thinking of metaphysics as an investigation of reality beyond scientific observation, then there is no room for that in this kind of philosophy. All right. So, and this kind of philosophy is still on the table today. Contemporary philosophy. We call it naturalism. So naturalism is, you might say, the heir to
Gotta beat
this
your first
tradition, this
account.
tradition that goes
Hey.
at least as far back to the English philosophers. You could argue it goes all the way back to at least Aristotle. Okay, but naturalism is the newest version of this kind of philosophy. Very much wants to align itself with science and clean out all of language or theories and all of the philosophizing that they take to be esoteric, mysterious, and all of that. Okay. All right. So that is how things were during the first part of the 20th century, and then we move to roughly mid 20th century to 21st century. Okay, so the next half of the 20th century, we saw some very, very interesting developments. We had this transition in language from extensionalism to what we call intentionalism. And this is the important part of the story. This is setting everything up for this one. So, intention, okay? So now meaning is determined not by a word's extension, but rather its intention. So what's the difference? So I said extension is just all the individuals that are members of that predicate. That's the extension. The intention of any predicate will be all of the individuals that are possibly members of that. Okay? And so now this category, okay, is going
Trying to get a
be
hang of
much
that
larger
ballpark.
and include many
But that ballpark be killing me.
So,
After that, I got the entire level. I think the rest is probably just easy to make ship. I can do within 1 or 2 attempts.
So all of the human beings, all of the actually existing human beings. And individuals like Sherlock Holmes, Bruce Wayne, Leia Organa, etc. Okay? So, all of the possible individuals, possible humans are included in this group. And so, as a result, two predicates can have the same extension but differ differing intentions. Okay, so now if we consider meaning as determined by intention, now we can capture differences in meaning that you could not capture with an extension. A famous example of wine, interestingly enough, since he's like a super hardcore extensionalist, is this these two predicates remake. This is the category of individuals.
Creepypasta.